Let's talk about the slope of a linear equation. Slope is a ratio associated with a linear equation that represents how quickly a line rises or falls. If slope is positive, the line goes up as you move to the right. Now, if slope is negative, that means the line moves down as you move to the right. A horizontal line has a slope of 0. Now, a vertical line is considered to have undefined slope. We'll get a little bit more into that later. A very common understanding of slope is rise over run, the ratio of how much a graph goes up or down divided by how much the graph moves left or right. Let's be more specific. Let's say a graph has a slope of 3. What does that mean? Well, think of 3 as 3 over 1. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that our graph moves 3 units up for every 1 unit it moves to the right. Let's look at it a different way. Let's say our graph has a slope of -3. This means that the line moves 3 units down for every 1 unit it moves to the right. So think of slope as the top number being how much you go up if it's positive, or down if it's negative, with the bottom number being how many units you'll move to the right. So what about fractional slopes, like 2/5? This just means that this particular line moves 2 units up for every 5 units that it moves to the right. Now, let's take a look at all these different slopes on a graph. Okay, so the red line has our slope of 3. Notice that it moves 1, 2, 3 units up for each one it moves over. For the line that has a slope of -3, notice that we move 1, 2, 3 units down for each one we move to the right. And then for our green line here with slope of 2/5, notice that we're moving 1, 2 up and 5 over. Now, let's take 2 points and calculate the slope of that line. Now, to figure out the slope of a line, all you need is 2 points. Remember that any 2 points can determine a line. For example, here's a point, here's another point, there's the line determined by 2 points. Okay, so let's be more specific. In general, for any 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, these can be any points you like, the slope, commonly referred to using the variable m, is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So that means whatever you have for your points, one of them is x2 and y2 and the other one is x1 and y1. You calculate your slope by taking y2 and subtracting y1, then dividing by x2 minus x1. It's very simple, but it's easy to make mistakes. You can mess up the negative sign here, or a very common mistake is y2 minus y1 over x1 minus x2. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure when you're calculating your slope that things match up vertically. y2, x2, y1, x1. Okay, now that we've got the basic formula for slope in general, let's apply it to an example.